What is up, Internet? I am Taylor. It is March 13th, 2022. Doesn't roll off the tongue. There's a lot of T's in there. And this is the Cranky Comic Book Review Show. Actually, it's not even going to be that cranky this week. It was a pretty good week of comics, pretty light week of comics, and yeah. And yes, before we get into it, I do look like the evil little sidekick kid from A Christmas Story in this hat. If I really go, feel like editing, I'll put a picture here. We'll see. That's a lot of work. I have to Google. I have to paste it. I have to do all these things. And yeah, I'm just spreading out the time now because this is going to be a fairly short video, at least for me. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, let's get into this. Worst to best. And again, this is not really even a worst. Well, it is. But it's just kind of a light week. And most of the books were not horrible. We're starting with Armor Clad's #1 from Valiant. I didn't even know Valiant was still a thing, to be honest with you. And this comic book has a ding to it. Anyways, it's sort of Armorines and grunts versus non-grunts officers, and your cog in the machine. There's a couple corporate cog in the machine books this week, and it's not bad. It's really not awful. It's an interesting enough idea. The artwork is pretty cool. I dig the cover. It's just there's not much to it. There's there's a few stories this week where there's just not a lot to them, which kind of hurts their ratings. It's just when you're paying $4 to $5, you want some beef, you want some teeth, you want some story to it. And this is a setup book, but instead of giving us a lot of setup, there's like a 7 or 8 page preview. Maybe not that many. There's a 4 or 5 page preview at the end of this for issue #2. I'm like, just continue with the damn story. I don't care about the issue #2. Issue #1's not that great if you do the preview just to hook us on #2, because #2 is where it looks like it starts getting interesting. So just have it start getting interesting. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm a little cranky. All right. This one, I was going to research on this, and I didn't, because I just started filming, people. Count Crowley, Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter. This reads like it's a follow-up to something, but I don't know what the hell it's a follow-up to. It's got so either it's a weird storytelling device where it's not really a follow-up to a previous story, or I'm just not aware of what it is. If you know if this is a sequel to something, let me know in the comments down below, because it's also got another strange kind of framing device, which is sort of the old-timey TV murder, like late night murder mystery, with the Creeper or Elvira or any one of those. And so there's a framing device of that, and there's a story within the story, and then it looks like it's a sequel. So it's got a bit of confusion to it, but it's not an awful story. Art is okay. It's not that great. It's kind of serviceable. And if you hear my dog barking in the background, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. It's a Monster Hunter, Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter. This cover is not really accurate. It's a cool cover. Doesn't really match the theme of the interior stuff too much as far as that goes. It's like the cover's better. And it's all right. And there's a weird corporate element to some of this, and there's weird, I don't know, some odds. There's a lot of odd stuff packed into this. But again, for all that odd stuff, there's not a whole lot of story being told. All right. Odd stuff, not a whole lot of story being told. Radio Spaceman #1. This, I think, came out technically last week, but my LCS didn't get it, or they're all damaged, and this copy's kind of beat up too. God damn it, my LCS has just not been great at getting good books or putting out great books lately. But whatever. This is Radio Spaceman Mission to Numa #1. Mission to Numa 4. Title doesn't roll off the tongue. It's written by Mike Mignola. Art cover by Mike Mignola. And I think this is just a sketch he did during quarantine, because it's copyright it says 2021 on the cover. And if I remember right, I know he's doing a lot of quarantine sketches and just spitballing odd characters and that stuff. And I think this is one of them, and that's kind of where it came out. And then the story kind of fleshed out from there. And it's a very Mike Mignola-esque story. It's weird, sort of steampunky sci-fi, and then shenanigans. It's decent. Greg Hinkle's art on the inside is not bad. I just really wish it were Mignola doing the art as well, because I think his art just would fit this a whole lot better. And it's okay. Again, just not a whole lot to it, and that's what's holding it back, and kind of why it's in the middle of the pack this week. So yeah. All right, next we have Demons #1 by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, the buffest artist in all of comics, probably. I don't know, maybe. Buff dude. This is a giant exposition dump. It's a thick boy, but they padded it because the back of this is just a rough draft of the script. Just give us more story. I get the. I mean, I thank you. I appreciate extras, but I paid $5. Just charge me $4 and say, look, read it online. This started as an online story, and it kind of feels like that. Not a lot of spreads or anything like that, and not a lot of anything else as far as like double flashiness. It just kind of feels like you're meant to read it all vertically in a sort of vertical format, but it is not horrible. It is just very dense word-wise on purpose. Like, Scott Snyder knows he's doing this, and it's an interesting enough premise, but the whole thing is just a setup dump at this one. And it's got this, like, cliffhanger ending where it looks like issue number 2 might start actually getting interesting. It's not that interesting, this issue. It's not bad. It's just, come on, you gotta give me a little more to sink my teeth into, because, like, I just need some more meat. Are we gonna do this in this order? We're gonna switch it up a little. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I think. Yeah, we're gonna do this. All right. Avengers Forever #4. This is Jason Aaron. It's one of those miniseries that's not a giant event. Kind of thankfully, there's not a whole lot else tie into this, and I think there's only one more issue of this, and it's sort of done. This is just him playing around, Jason Aaron playing around the multiverse. I think this artist is different than it has been on the previous one. It just reads like a different tone. But these characters, I believe, are all from Aaron's Thor run, which I have not read all of. Sorry, I'll get there. It's on my digital backlist, but I haven't gotten to it yet. And it's not bad. It's just kind of like each issue of this Avengers Forever just sort of focuses on a different character, which makes it a little disjarring because they're all trying to save the multiverse from, like, you know, multiversity madnessy things and stuff. And it's fun. I dig Jason Aaron when he does this kind of stuff. Like, I liked his Heroes Reborn stuff, and I liked his kind of like just when he gets a little more playful and does some of that kind of stuff. It's good. Like, we're in the fine plus category now. The art's kind of holding it back a little. The art on the inside I just didn't love, but not bad. All right, next we have a story where I love the art, and it's Corporate Cog and just goddamn bizarre. And this is Ghost Cage. I love this cover. Probably one of my top 2 covers of the week. And like, I like the interior art by Caleb Gellner. Artist and co-writer. So Caleb Gellner's a co-writer on this, and Nick Dragotta's the other co-writer. This is a weird-ass story. It kind of reminds me of, in certain ways, of the Orphan and the Five Beasts, in that it's just like one kind of character fighting a bunch of others, and that's kind of what this is. It's in a bizarre framing story of like world power or powering the world, and then there's a hologram. There's a nuclear power plant that's enormous. There's earth and water, and I'm guessing next we're gonna fight air and I don't know, something else, fire probably. But yeah, it's a strange one. Title doesn't really. I mean, the Ghost Cage might be the fact that there's something's trapped in a cage of their own making. But yeah, Corporate Cog going along. The main character is technically this little person in the back. Doyle, Boyle, Foyle, Hoyle, Goyle, Goyle. And then the eyeball thing is Sam. Eyeball thing is a little weird. It's a strange one. It's not bad. It's gorgeous. It kind of reminds me of like an undergroundy kind of comic in a good way, but it's just the story itself just kind of is like, all right, that's an interesting sort of story. That's sort of a story, sort of. All right, next, Black Hammer Reborn #10. We're getting there on this one. This is like the Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of playground that Jeff Lemire's in this arc, and the end of it kind of is like. Gives me some promise that it's going to end up being better than I thought this whole thing was. It's not bad. I like Jeff Lemire. I like Black Hammer. It's just the Black Hammer universe. This 10-issue arc has just not grabbed me as much as his previous stuff with the Black Barn and the farm. The Black Barn is from Gideon Falls. He's got a lot of stuff he plays. He's got some barn issues, people. But Caitlin Darski's cover is great, and I like that she's back on the interior art, although it does feel a little rushed in times for her interiors on this. Like, I think there's a reason they had some fill-in stuff in the middle. I think she's getting kind of behind, and it just kind of like looks like this is kind of rushed. But yeah, you're getting to the hero arc part of this all, where like the main character has to make a choice, and I'm not to spoil it, but she chooses something. I know, deep, right? She makes a choice. And, yeah, I dig it. There's consequences. There's finally something progressing in this. It felt like it was kind kind of sort of getting a little lost in the weeds for the past few issues. We're kind of back on track on this. 2 issues left, pretty decent. Probably just trade weighted at this point, or omnibus weighted. He puts out those thick boy omnibuses, omnibuy, whatever. Just do that. All right, couple left. Robin, number 12. Yeah, I'm loving Robin. Like, I don't like a lot of books, in case you hadn't noticed. But yeah, Robin's a lot of fun, and I never thought I'd give a shit about Damian Wayne. But Josh Williamson's got a handle on this character. It's made me actually care. We're kind of past the Lazarus Island storyline for the most part, although it is kind of building into a bigger narrative, which you'll kind of learn about in here. And yeah, it's fun. There's character growth. There's like Damian Wayne is growing and becoming more interesting as a character in this book. The art by Cruz, it's kind of cartoony and kind of, but still kind of realistic, and it fits this. Like, I don't have a whole lot of complaints about it. It's been a fun romp, and this issue continues to be a part of the fun romp of it all. So, yeah, if you're not reading Robin, you're probably missing out on one of DC's better titles. Maybe not the best, but better. One of the better ones they're doing. All right, next, Saga. Saga. What number is this? Number 57. This is a good one. Saga's just good. I need to, like, I read the first, like, 10 or so issues back years ago when it first came out. Wish I still had them. I don't. They got water damage. I'd be retiring off my copies of Saga #1 then. Well, I wouldn't, but it's a decently priced book. And, like, so I know who the Will and the Lion Cat are. So that's these two characters. I just kind of don't know their arc because I missed it out. And they're back in this book. And it's also moving the main plot forward and stuff. So, like, without spoiling it and without catching up on everything, this one's a tough one to talk about, but I am just kind of reading it as I go. And every issue I read, I'm like, okay, I need to go back and read the omnibus or get an omnibus. And that's where I'm at with this right now. It's entertaining as all hell, even without knowing everything going on. Like, Brian K. Vaughan is a master of, like, just kind of getting you to go along with things and, like, making a fun ride. And Fiona Staples' art, I dig, I love. It's awesome. Clear, you're never confused with what's going on in a panel. Like, she's great at that. But I just did, I probably need to read the rest of the arc first. This is maybe not the best jumping point issue. A couple issues ago, like 55, when they first did the quote-unquote reboot or whatever, when they came back from the 3-year hiatus, probably not a horrible point to jump on, but I think you're still going to be a bit lost. So, hunt down, I think you can buy an omnibus that's like a collected trade paperback that's like this thick for like $30 on eBay. That's probably what I'm going to do. And, maybe we'll have a read-along. Oh, we can hold hands and read and eat marshmallows and drink bourbon and complain about life and talk about Saga. Maybe that might be a new channel feature. Probably none of those things are going to happen. But all right, Department of Truth number 17. This is the next arc, finally. I kind of just, this is another one of those books where it just sort of felt like it was in the weeds. And, like, we're getting somewhere, I think, with this. This is Nixon, Moon Landing. And it's Jorge Fornes in art, which is not Simmons. Simmons is, like, the main painterly kind of artist that's been doing the first couple arcs. And, had a very kind of Bill Sienkiewicz's style, which is, like, muddy and kind of hard to follow in places, but that worked because it's the whole Department of Truth narrative is kind of muddy and hard to follow in places. Fornes is a different beast. Fornes is like a very clear, concise storyteller with very sparse line work and heavy inking and stuff. And this story, I think, is relating to it. It's pretty dialogue heavy in here, but it's interesting. And if you're like want to know about the moon landing and how it ties in, which trust me, it does, to the Department of Truth, you could do worse than this. It's a solid title. It's one of Tynan's tops. I like it better than Something That's Killing the Kids, and I like it not quite as nice as not quite as well as Nice House on the Lake, but a whole lot better than his Batman bullshit. So, Department of Truth, good. All right, my favorite book of the week, which I did not really expect. Also, my favorite cover of the week, which I kind of expected going in because I just dig this cover. We have Rogues. This is another Josh Williamson book with art by, who's the art by? Who is the art by? Leo Max. Okay, no first name, just Leo Max. Like Cher. Kind of cartoony art. Nice use of like a sort of a limited palette on here with the color. Who's the colorist? See this? Colored by Mateus Lopez. And this is another caught in the sort of corporate cog kind of book and trapped in a life you don't want. And it's kind of a poignant start to this book of like, you know, Leonard Snart, Captain Cold, is just not in a place where he wants to be, and decides to do something about it. And it's like the methods he takes probably aren't great. He's a criminal in the Flash universe, so it's kind of ridiculous. And like their plan is ridiculous. Not to get into a whole lot of that, but like the meat behind it, I dig, and I think this is an interesting one. I think it has potential. I I don't know how many issues this is. I think it's 2 or 3. But yeah, this is kind of like, it's a ridiculous thing. They're planning to rob Gorilla Grodd. Well, I mean, it says it on the back, so spoilers on that much. And like, it's like a bunch of criminals sort of past their prime that are just desperate, and it's the desperation that kind of gets you. It's not. I think people compared it to Usual Suspects. It's not that. It's just more like there's a movie called Hard Eight. That it kind of reminds me of, or just kind of, yeah, like any down on their luck, like criminal that's just trying to like have one last heist that can kind of go okay. Like a David Mamet. There's a David Mamet one that kind of reminds me of it too. I can't think of the name of it, but it's a, yeah, it reminds me more of a play than a comic book, honestly. And yeah, it's $7, so you might want to wait for the collection on this. But I mean, I dig the cover. I dig the story thus far. My favorite book this week. I didn't think it would be the favorite. I mean, because there's a lot of contenders. Like, this was also really good. This was very good. This was very good. Like, I mean, these are all pretty good stuff. Like, even the worst book of the week is not bad. I mean, it's not the best, but I mean, this is better than a lot of other shit that's come out in the past month or 2 to 4. But I think we're finally getting to some decent books this year, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, that's what we got. Yeah, on March 13th, 2020. I said that already. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when these videos drop. If you want to buy merchandise, you can do that at taylorwinter.com. I do sell stuff on my Whatnot. The link's down below. If you've never bought off of there, you can get $10 if you use my referral link, and you'll save $10 on an order. So you get free shit. Lots of people do giveaways on Whatnot too. So if you want to just win free shit, you can go in there and win free shit. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram. Follow me here. Start a dialogue. We can talk. If you really have any interest in like hearing me like, you know, talk about chapters of Saga or something, let me know. Yeah. I'm open, people, and yes, you'll shoot your eye out. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick or you'll shoot your eye out. No, it doesn't. That doesn't work. I don't have a good don't be a dick this week. Just don't be one.